Hey everyone, it's Anne, just Steel City Scented. Thank you for joining me for another fragrance freestyle. Hope everyone's taking care of themselves and those that they love. We are back on the slightly skanky fragrance train with a perfume that actually means a lot to me personally. My mother wore this as long as I can remember. It was always sitting on her dresser. You probably have seen this bottle. Someone in your life may have worn this if you're an 80s kid like me. This is Revlon Fire and Ice. This might be one of the most recognizable bottles on the planet, I feel like. This was carried drugstores, Kmart, Sears, Hills, Pittsburgh, shout out to Hills. Very much a down market product. So we'll go through quickly the house history because Revlon's really a beast to cover in a video. The notes, comparables, and then where I'd wear this. So unfortunately, I don't have the Parfum or the EDP version. I thought that's what I was getting, was the EDP. So when I received the perfume and both the perfume and the EDP, you'll have to compare because this one, being an EDT, actually an EDC. Yeah, it's a cologne spray. Yeah, so this is much, much weaker than what you'd get performance-wise from the others. So keep that in mind as I'm talking about this fragrance. But let's jump right in. So in my video about Revlon Intimate, we actually went over the house of Revlon, but a very brief history. So it's an American cosmetics company. It was founded during the Great Depression, 1932. Two brothers called Charles and Joseph Revson, and a chemist called Charles Lackman, and he's the L in Revlon. They started with nail polish. And they decided to, if I'm reading this correctly, they added lipstick in 1940. They're stock in public in 1955. They actually had different types of product lines. So if you remember JCPenney from back in the day, they had an Ultima 2 makeup counter built into JCPenney. So long before Avon had storefronts, long before Sephora was present in Macy's, things like that, Ultima 2 was in there, and their makeup was actually really nice. And they go under the names Revlon, Princess Marcella Borghese, Ultima 2, Natural Wonder, Moondrops, and Etheria. So those are all under the Revlon umbrella, which I actually didn't know about the Princess Marcella Borghese. And they, I think I mentioned in the Intimate video, but they came out with a perfume called Charlie in 1973. The reason Charlie is so important from a women's movement, I guess, historically, when models were taking pictures, it was always like looking to the side. Smile at your fake friends. Oh, smile. Or look up, look down. Charlie had an ad of a woman looking straight onto the camera. Like, hello, you're going to respect me, recognize me, this is my perfume. So they were actually pretty ballsy in making that ad, but really did set a precedent for people not looking away anymore and being recognized in their photos. So, yeah, let's go on. But they're, in the 70s, three perfumes, if you think of Enjoli, Gentoo, and Ciara, if you've heard of any of those are bread and butter Revlon fragrances. And unfortunately, they've really become they always kind of were a down market product, but they've definitely become a down market product nowadays. So let's get back to Fire and Ice, the cologne. And they just use Givaudan perfumers, but Alberto Morillas is one of their creative directors. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so on to Fire and Ice. So this came out in 1994. So if you ever want to look for vintage bottles of Revlon that are not this one, I don't think that Revson would be an option, but Revson for Ciara especially, you want to get a Charles Revson version. They've got the brown cap, the rest clear bottle. These, I don't know, honestly, if the vintage formula, this is a vintage bottle, but I couldn't tell you the difference, honestly, between a bottle you pick up today, because I don't have one, and these older versions. But these are very, very easily available on eBay, things like that. So it's classified as sweet and oriental, which is a terrible word, I know. And let's go. Why is my computer freezing? Hold on, please. Okay, sorry. So again, 1994 was this release. There's a perfume, technically, perfume, EDP, and EDC version of this. This is like $10. They don't credit a perfumer, unfortunately, but the notes per Parfumo, in the top there's orange blossom, osmanthus, and tangerine. The heart notes are narcissus, magnolia, tuberose, and orchid, which I really can't smell, sadly, and base notes of amber, musk, and frankincense. So it's definitely got an amber a base of not as strong of an amber as you'd find in something like some certain Avon products, but there's definitely amber present. So what do I get? So unfortunately, again, being the EDC, this is sadly really weak, because I remember when my mom sprayed it, the sillage on this fragrance was a monster back in the day. Like, she'd get right in her room, walk through the house, you could walk back upstairs and smell her for ages. So again, this does mean a lot, smelling this, good and bad. But when you spray it, I mean, it definitely opens with this orange blossom, and orange blossoms can be, I should have mentioned that on my narcotic video, because orange blossoms do have an indole component, so they can get kind of skanky on you. But when you, in this bottle, I guess, again, it was brand new, but I can't guarantee that it was stored properly from where I bought it. So usually the citrus notes would be a little bit brighter in here. You do get orange blossom though, and strangely tangerine. I don't really get osmanthus, sadly. And as it dries down, it's a lot of magnolia and a little bit of tuberose. But this gets to the mid notes in about 30 minutes on my skin. And then the base notes, the amber, it's a white musk, and frankincense is not that very strong. So it dries down to basically, like, it goes from orange blossom tangerine, so kind of that orange citrusy component, to a little bit of skank in the middle, and then dries down pretty quickly to amber. And this one especially, given this the EDC, you probably could wear it honestly anywhere, because it's not loud, it's not projecting. It really would be kind of our version of like a Your Skin But Better type scent nowadays. But it is still very, very pretty. And again, slightly skanky. But I do remember, again, the EDP and the Parfum being just much louder. So I'm actually really excited to get my nose on those. And what do they compare to on Perfumo? Fire and Ice Perfume, Fire and Ice EDP, and then Olympic Orchids Olympic Amber, which I disagree with wholeheartedly. If you're not familiar with Olympic Orchids, Dr. Ellen Covey is a perfumer and has done amazing work. I think I mentioned her when I did the Seattle chocolate video. That's natural and a beast. This one is not, I don't even think note-wise they're close. So I disagree completely with someone's assessment. And they also compared it to Amber Romance, which I don't know what that is. Coty Exclamation, which is a totally different note profile. And then Revlon Intimate, again, totally different note profile. So there's not really much you'll find like Fire and Ice anyways that has that citrus component, floral component, amber, frankincense. So if you want to be slightly skanky, you can try this one out. I don't think that there's really, again, any place that would be a bad situation for this, unless somebody specifically told you they are allergic to one of those components or they don't like one of those components and you're just being a jag. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining me for this brief review of the Fire and Ice cologne, and we will talk soon. Take care.